Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin, Alan Rough, Tam McManus and Charlie Adam are here with me on this Friday. Great to have your company. Hit the follow button, join the football family on our Facebook page, and also hit the subscribe button on YouTube and you'll be with us. And we'll be delighted to have you as part of that football family. Tell us about your favourite team. You can talk about the issues that emerge day to day. Monday to Friday, we're on 4 o'clock on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. So with that in mind, let's look back at last night's football. Absolutely incredible, Roughie. Is it fair to say a wonder goal, a world-class save, and a brilliant bit of opportunism and anticipation sums up Rangers' 1-1 draw?
Yeah, I think so. I think you summed it up. We all spoke about it yesterday. We talked about that away goal being so important. Rangers got that away goal, and obviously Alan McGregor's save at the end of the match is just unbelievable. It's a save that goalkeepers dream of making, and particularly a crucial save. I mean, I've spoken about it numerous occasions. Lots of goalkeepers make saves left, right and centre, but he makes the big ones. He makes the important ones, and that could be the save that gets him through to the next round. I think the tie is still open. I think both of them won't want to sit. They'll want to try and get a goal. So I think we're in for a really exciting second leg. With obviously Rangers holding the upper hand.
And Tam, just echoing what Roughie has said for weeks and weeks on this show, he was a goalkeeper that attended 3 World Cups, and he's mentioned on more than a few occasions, Roughie, that when you see a ball that you've got no chance of getting, there's no point in actually making a move for it. And when Stanchu hit that ball, McGregor just looked and thought, I'm not getting that, am I?
No, there's no point in diving. You just waste energy, didn't you? I think that as soon as he cuts inside and he looks for that top corner, I think that the Rangers defender was blocking his view a little bit, McGregor, but still, it's an unbelievable hit. It's got pace on it as well. He's called it right in the top corner. Wonderful goal, and Rangers right up against it at the start. I thought Slavia Prague started the better side. They're a very fit team, very quick team. They started at a really high tempo, and Rangers were struggling to hang on to them towards the start of the game, but I think second half, Rangers obviously get the goal against the run of play. Second half, Rangers did create a few chances. But towards the end, Slavia Prague came on strong again. And as you said, an absolutely world-class save from Alan McGregor. Not only to save it, but to hold on to it. Because if you watch it again, the Slavia Prague player is coming in to tap it in if he spills it. So not only to save it, but to hold it was a wonderful save. And as Roughie says, it probably just gives Rangers a slight edge going into the second leg.
Yeah, and of course, negotiations for a new contract are there on the table, as Stephen Gerrard explains.
Listen, I don't have to have confidence. I know that anyway. I've spoke about it before, how much we rate Alan, how much we love him here, how much we want to carry on. At the same time, I told you guys I'll respect him. He knows what's on the table. He's in discussions with the club, and from where I'm sitting, I just hope we get it over the line and sign him up for another year, because he's more than capable.
Yeah, I mean, he's top drawer. Tell us about him as a teammate.
What he produced last night is what he does day in, day out in training. Pulls off top class saves. Works extremely hard, looks after himself. 39 years of age, there's not a pick on him, and he's been doing that for years. I felt that even when he was at Hull in the Premier League, that I thought one of the big ones might have taken him to, as a goalkeeper that can push the number one, because he's that good. And to keep doing it on, the big stage in Europa League in big moments, just shows where his head is at. It's clear, it's ready to go. And I don't think it'll be about money, the new contract. I think it'll just be how he's feeling going forward, and what other opportunities is there coaching at the end of it and things like that. But for him to keep performing the way he has, it's just incredible. And I think that over the 3 years, he's been as consistent as anybody in that Rangers team.
Yeah, Roughie, as a goalkeeper, you must have appreciated. I mean, Alan himself after the match maybe oversimplified it, but it was a world-class save. I mean, how he got down to it, incredible.
Yeah, it's not the fact of how you get down there. It's having the ability to get that reach in his hand. It's a training exercise that you do during the week when somebody's throwing balls to you. You have to catch the ball with one hand, And that's what he did. He caught it with one hand, and the other hand comes over, obviously, to steady it. But to get your hand right round that ball at the distance he went, his feet never moved at all. It was just all about stretch and all about getting there and the quickness to get there. And that's what he did. I mean, the more you see it, the better it gets. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And Steven Gerrard, of course, now knows this tie is set up nicely at 1-1.
I think we've gave everything we've got tonight from a physical point of view after the week we've had. This was probably the toughest opposition we could have faced because they play at a real high intensity and they're a powerful team. And they came out the blocks extremely quick. So after a poor start or a slow start, I thought we'd done ever so well to get back in the game. And we've had some chances, they've had some chances. So I think overall, probably a fair result, and it sets it up for next week.
Yeah, there's a couple of players I think are well worthy of mention, Tam, that, because McGregor obviously hogs the headlines with the great save. But Nathan Patterson, I thought, just again grew in stature. And the second one, for me, was Hadji, because that looked like a lost cause. But he just wanted to play it into an area, hoping there was a Rangers player there to finish it. And Helander duly obliged.
Yeah, listen, there was a lot of decent performances. I think Patterson started the game slowly. He's up against a good player. Stanchu, I think he's a top player. He wants to come in his inside, and I think once Patterson got to grips with that, he starting to show him the line, started to defend him better in the second half. So he played well. And Hadji, listen, I don't know about the Slavia Prague goalkeepers doing. I don't know about Roughie, but can he not come out and dive at his feet? I don't think fair play to Hadji for giving it up and getting it back across the goal and then Rangers, got the goal, but I thought it was poor goalkeeping from a Slavia Prague goalkeeper.
Yeah, Roughie?
Oh, most definitely. There's no doubt about it. He could have made himself bigger. He could have been brave enough to throw himself at Hadji, but he never did either, and I think it actually went through his legs, and I think he'll know he should have done a lot better. But it was a bit fortunate that Rangers got the goal. I mean, but that's what happens when everything's going well for you. I mean, it hits off the boy's knee and it could have went anywhere, but it went to Hadji, and he just took advantage of that. So, no, you take everything that comes with. Tam's right, it was a bad goalkeeping error.
Yeah, well, listen, this is a team that knocked out Leicester City. For me, I mean, I also liked, a Rebo at times. I think he's got a real trick about him as well. But Charlie, it's 1-1, and I think Rangers, can look at this and think, right, the celebrations for the title are over. They've played a difficult game away from home. This is a chance to get into the next round. I think they can do it.
No, I do as well. I think, this 1-1's a good result in the end, because I thought Rangers were poor first half, first 45 minutes. I thought they were poor, not at the level that we'd expect from them and what they've shown. But you can take into consideration what's been going on Saturday, Sunday, winning the title. And like you say, it's obviously down to Slavia as well, how they started the game. So sometimes in the game, you just got to take your medicine. They've done that. It was a great finish. And, they battled away Rangers. It's they kept turning the ball over, which was very rare for Rangers. And second half, they made a tactical switch, bringing Hadji into number 10 position and Kent going up beside Morelos. And I think they got more control of the game and they built from that. And, like you say, they had a couple of chances later on. Kent probably could have done a little bit better with his chance. But it's and overall, it's a great away goal and 1-1. And, you'd expect Rangers to win at home because they've been so rampant at home in Europe and also in the Premier League.
Yeah, Roughie, I'm just looking here. We're now 11th in UEFA's coefficient rankings. It looks as if there'll be a direct place in season 22-23 in the Champions League. The way things are going, the Ukrainian sides, both of them lost in their first leg tie. So it's starting to look really good for us with, 2 places in the UEFA Champions League.
Getting in without doing the qualifying would be an absolute bonus for whoever it is. That we keep hearing Celtic having to play 4 games and the pressures that puts on you, to win these games. So going straight in is a massive boost on the footballing side, but also financially as well, because you're right into the big pot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's the results. Yeah, Tam?
Peter, that makes next season's title race enormous between the two, doesn't it? That is huge for one of them to get into the Champions League. That is what, £30 million minimum. If you win the league next season, So it just shows you. I mean, Celtic. I know both will want to win the league and both will spend money, but it might be the team that speculates a little more. To accumulate to win the league next season, gets that big prize at the end of it, going straight into the Champions League. Huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at the results from last night in the other Europa League matches. Manchester United thought they'd got a 1-0 win until a late equaliser. Slavia Prague Rangers was 1-1. Olympiacos defeated by Arsenal. Martin Odegaard hit an absolute screamer in that game. And of course, Harry Kane, as ever, for Tottenham, 2-0 over Dynamo Zagreb. So some positive results there for the British clubs. Okay, back to domestic matters, and as ever, we've always got a statement on the show. They're never too far away from us with a statement, but excuse me. This is to do with, of course, will the Old Firm game go ahead? Is it a bit of scaremongering, or is it a realistic threat? What do you think, Charlie?
I think it's just scaremongering. I think this is the Parliament or the government trying to have a bit of power on what's been going on. And, they just have to get together. I think there's a meeting today with, everybody, the police, the government, Rangers and Celtic. The game will go ahead. It's the biggest derby that, in the world for me. And it'll go ahead. It's just both clubs have to just try and keep getting that word out and that message that please don't come near the stadium. Don't gather as a group of supporters and that. And we'll see the game go ahead, because it'd be a tragedy for Scottish football if it got cancelled.
Hamza Youssef has basically said that they're having a meeting. The discussions are ongoing. Rangers, Celtic, Police Scotland, Glasgow City Council, that Charlie alluded to there. But he did say that if police get intelligence about trouble, they will postpone the game. And he wants all the fans to pay heed to this. And this is something that I think players, the manager, the ambassadors for both sets need to come out and start this consistent message all the way through. Do not break the regulations that are in place with regards to large groups, not socially distanced gathering anywhere near Celtic Park. There's barriers that you can see right across social media. Pictures have been posted of the barriers. And the politicians are saying the game still hangs in the balance. I have my doubt. I'm not pouring scorn on the legitimacy of them being able to cancel a game. I just cannot see it being cancelled as an event, Tam. I don't know about you.
Peter, sorry to interrupt. I heard weeks ago that there was going to be a walk from Ibrox to George Square. So if I'm hearing that, where's this police intelligence that should have known about this? Rangers fans meeting after the stadium. They knew that they were going to win the league at some point. So where's this intelligence come from that, if they hear it before this whole firm game, they should have known this weeks ago. And me as a neutral on the outside, I heard weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was going to be a walk from Ibrox to George Square for celebration as soon as Rangers won the league. So I just think, like you say, there's a bit of scaring here coming from the government, because they made a mess of this.
Well, I think from certainly my point of view, and everybody who are football fans up and down the country and love to see a Rangers Celtic game, I do hope they pay particular attention to this. Celtic have actually just released a statement about the Old Firm and Rangers. Celtic can confirm that the club will participate in a multi-agency meeting to discuss preparations for our match on March 21st. The Scottish Government has already made clear to Celtic that it does not in any way associate the scenes last weekend with Celtic or our supporters. It goes on to say, although Celtic and our supporters are desperate to get back to Celtic Park to support the team, the club and our supporters are of course mindful of the risks associated with public gatherings at this important time. The club has been clear in our messaging to our supporters of the importance of staying at home in line with the applicable guidance throughout the pandemic. We have communicated regularly, and our fixtures and our supporters have worked with the club responsibly. At the celebrations after our historic 9-in-a-row title triumph last summer and after our unprecedented quadruple treble Scottish Cup win in December are two key examples of that. We will re-emphasise the message for this fixture, as we have done during the season, and we are sure that our supporters will work with the club while the restrictions remain in place. Given that the damage caused to club property recently, the club has already taken steps to enhance security and protection of our property at Celtic Park, and the club is happy to work with those attending the meeting to ensure that any additional protection necessary will be in place for the match in question. So there you have it. I think, a number of Celtic fans, I can remember from attending the game, let a lot of people down when Neil Lennon was under real pressure. And I think when you look back on that, Tam, the police, suffered some barriers being thrown at them as well. People were bang out of order. And I think that's the key element that I think Celtic and Rangers want to discuss and want to try and keep away. People who don't actually abide by the rules.
Yeah, listen, I think we all spoke about it Monday, that everybody's got to get around the table here, because I think the season's hanging in the balance. I think the government are ready to pull the plug, if this doesn't go right, the Old Firm game. So I think it's in everybody's best interest for Celtic and Rangers and the council and the government, everybody get around the table and say, listen, this is what we've got to do. You've got to keep consistent messages out on social media, on your website, fans not to come near the ground. And the government do that as well on their social media platforms. Everybody's on the same page. And we don't see the repeat of the scenes, as you said, at Parkhead when Lennon was under pressure or when Rangers won the league. Nobody wants that, to an old Scottish phrase, we've got to screw the heat here. And if we do that, everybody celebrates, everybody watches the game in the house. And then we can get out of this lockdown quicker. Because the last thing we want is this lockdown to be extended because of the actions of stupid individuals.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't think we can argue with that. Roughie, Willie Collum will be in charge of the Celtic Rangers match.
Yeah, he's one of our top referees. He has been known to a bit of controversy, but I think he is one of the better ones. He gets all the big games in Europe, so they think highly of him as well. So, and he's had games before. And I think it's a good appointment. I think there is only about 2 or 3 that you would give that game to, and he would be one of them.
Okay, some other news regarding something that's been going on for quite a while. Rangers have released a statement regarding the scandal surrounding the abuse of footballers, young footballers. This is what it has to say. We are in receipt of the report published by the SFA following the review of sexual abuse in Scottish football and have taken some time to consider its findings. We are firmly committed to ensuring openness and transparency in relation to this issue and agree on the uninterrupted ethical obligation of clubs over time, irrespective of changes. We express our sincere sympathy to all individuals who have suffered abuse and commend the bravery of all survivors. With regard to the specific instances referred to, they go on to say, as the report states, these concern one former employee. We note the report accepts when former managers were provided with a direct allegation that this was dealt with promptly. We agree it's time for all of Scottish football to learn from and take responsibility for mistakes. We fully acknowledge the impact of these events and the enduring effect on individuals' lives. We apologise to anyone personally affected by abuse within Scottish football. Now, I think bearing in mind that a number of clubs have come out and said it, Roughie, I'm sure anyone who was a victim is looking at it and thinking, a lot of this has come too late in their mind for the acknowledgement or even the apology. I don't know where. The only thing I can think of now is the individual cases going to court looking for some kind of compensation, but every club has offered a carefully worded apology.
Yeah, I think that's what will happen. I think the majority of the people who have came forward would like that to be an end product. Plus, obviously, the admission that it did actually happen. I don't mean fortunately, most of the cases are historic. It just shows you that we have cleaned our act up in 20, 30 years. You don't hear as much of it now, although it probably still goes on out there. But unfortunately, a lot of the people who are being accused are no longer with us. And that's a hard one, to defend when nobody can put their case forward. So it's a very difficult situation. But the good thing about it is all the clubs have admitted to it, that it did happen in their, not maybe their watch, but in their club. And I'm sure that will be a reassurance to some of the people that it's happened to. But I do think some people will take it further.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think they can mend the scars that some boys have faced down through the years with the cases that have been brought forward. Anyway, our heart goes out to them. We don't know how that's going to develop, but that's a statement that's come out from Rangers in line with a number of other clubs who've released statements around this very sorry and heartbreaking story. Okay, lots of people posting messages on the performance of Rangers. An excellent performance last night from Rangers, and of course everybody talking about that save from Alan McGregor. Another story that's doing the rounds, guys. Tam, Stephen Glass seems to be the red hot favourite, although every day a manager either gets sacked or somebody just rears their head and suddenly they're in the frame. I think the Sheffield United boss has just been sacked and somebody said he'd be great for Celtic. So Stephen Glass, 2 and 2 makes 4. He's going to be an Aberdeen manager, and Scott Brown's coming with him along with Russell. What's his second name again? From
Alan Russell.
Alan Russell. And by the way, I have to tell you, I did meet Alan Russell on holiday in Tenerife, and the big man who I said to him, "How are you doing?" Because oh my God, honestly, there wasn't an ounce of body fat on him, right? And I remember the reason why I remember him so well is he won the Player of the Year for Airdrie, and I asked him at the PFA, I says, you know, you've won that award, that's magnificent. Do you want to say a few words about your teammates and how they contributed to you winning it? And he just looked at me and he paused, and I went, "Oh, okay, then you just won it on your own." It was all about you. He's a big shiny, he's a very big, and there he is sitting by the pool, Tam, in Tenerife with the Ray-Bans on, looking like Tom Cruise. But he's done well for himself. He's a strikers coach, and he worked with England.
Yeah, I'm good pals with Alan. I actually, he played with Hibs. He was a young boy at Hibs coming through. He never quite made it at Hibs, and then he moved on to St Mirren. But I know him well. He was actually a model over in America, Los Angeles. He'd been over to play. Yeah, he was. Even over to play in Los Angeles in the league below the MLS. And I played against him. I was in the LA and I met him. And he says, "Listen, Tam, I'll come meet you for a coffee. Then I've got to go and do a shoot." I went, "What?" He said, "I've got to go and do a modelling shoot." But he's light over there. He's a very, very handsome big guy. But he's done really well for himself at England. He's very highly rated down there. And he's working with guys like Rashford and Kane. So he must be doing something right. And Gareth Southgate trusts him as part of his staff. So I mean, it's 3 of my ex-teammates, Bruni as well, and Stephen Glass. So I think it's an intriguing one, the 3 of them together. I know there's still a lot of things to happen. I don't think there's been any contact between anybody. I think they're going to give the 2 guys in charge a wee chance to maybe state a claim for the job. But I think Stephen Glass, Scott Brown and Alan Russell, I think if I was an Aberdeen fan, I'd be looking at that and going, that's a nice mix. A nice blend. There's hungry young coaches in there, and I think that'd be good. But there's a long way to go until that happens, I think. But I'd see Glassy getting it, to be honest.
Yeah, Charlie, what do you make of Scott Brown and an Aberdeen top?
It was a surprise to me when I read it this morning, but I've been thinking about it, and I think if you look at it, it's probably a sensible decision from. If this happens and Stephen become manager, Scott Brown knows Scottish football. Stephen's obviously been away from the game a long time in Scotland, so Bruni knows all the players, knows all the clubs, so you'll have that insight. But also, if he's still going to play, I think will be a huge benefactor to Ross McCrory, Lewis Ferguson, people like that, and might elevate their careers and get them to another level and playing extremely well. So, like Tam said, I think. With the 3 of them and the mixture of what it is, I think it would be a very good decision from Aberdeen going forward. But if there's no contact being made, we're still thinking about speculation and, we'll see where it comes to. But no, if I was Aberdeen, I'd be excited with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to throw everything into the mix, Roughie, Sven-Göran Eriksson is director of football. I love back page speculation, Roughie, because suddenly big names are in there and all the Aberdeen fans are thinking, "Oh, can't wait to get out of lockdown."
Yeah, it's a way that Aberdeen went down that road before, quite a long time ago. Remember the big boy for Spurs come up? Was it Keith Burtonshaw? He was a technical director. They brought him in. It didn't seem to work, but it certainly seems to be a position that the clubs are now now going to take on board. But it just shows you how the game's moved on. When you've got somebody who's not been offered the job, but got his own team all ready to move in. So that must just show you the way ahead now.
Yeah.
Didn't he say who his physio and that was going to be, or in his physio or his trainer?
There was no mention of you. Yeah, there was no mention of you, Roughie, as goalkeeping coach. But listen, there's still time. We can throw your name into the hat because it's gone from the sublime. It's gone from the sublime to the ridiculous with everybody's names that are.
You'd always want to have Jim Leighton and Rough.
I wasn't going to say anything to you though.
You need to bring Jim Leighton back to brighten up the place.
As long as he's got the Vaseline on the eyebrows.
He's got a bigger personality than Roughie.
You're ripping the back end out right now, Tam. To be perfectly honest with you, though, I mean, I think Scott Brown maybe still thinks he's got a year in his legs, Tam. I think Scott Brown, if that did somehow gather pace, when Neil Lennon went to Hibs, I saw a complete change in the Hibs mentality. I saw a change in the dressing room. I saw a change in the players. It was an attitude of a man who had been with winners, and he wouldn't tolerate draws. He looked at them as if they were a failure, and he wanted people to go to another level. And can you imagine Scott Brown in that dressing room turning round to Aberdeen players who are not pulling their weight?
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it last night, Peter. I think that's why Stephen Glass obviously would be thinking about trying to bring him in. I think that he's a winner. And Aberdeen have, I think they've won one trophy, in the last few while, and St Johnstone have won two. So I think it's been disappointment from a silverware point of view up at Aberdeen. So if you're going to go and bring in somebody like Scott Brown as a player coach, you're getting that winning mentality. The demands he puts on players every single day in training, how he looks after himself, that can only rub off on the promising young players up at Aberdeen. So I think it's all speculation at the minute, but I think it'd be a good one for Aberdeen.
Yeah, I still think.
Do you think he'll still be if he goes coaching? Do you think he'll still wear his short sleeve T-shirt and that, or will he get the old jacket and the jumper on?
No, he does it.
It's colder up in Aberdeen.
Oh, just about to say, Charlie, you're right. Let's see
December.
how tough he is up there.
Coming
in. Hey, I know, but let's see him up the North Sea, by the way. I mean, you used to see Fergie's training sessions down on the beach, and they were all well wrapped up, let me tell you. So it'll be a real test of Scott Brown's mettle if he's going to train with just the T-shirt on up in Aberdeen. You're 100% right, Charlie. Listen, Roughie, the SPFL have obviously released League One and League Two fixtures for the start of the campaign. So suddenly everybody can see what's ahead. That's great news.
Oh, it's fantastic. I think we're waiting. You've actually caught me in the hop because I was waiting to see something coming through because I know they were debating, the split of 4 games. The Championship weren't happy that they had to wait a fortnight before they found out who they were going to play. So I'd be happy if you tell me that's been sorted out as well, because I think the 18 games, people were a wee bit wary. It wasn't a true reflection, and the winners and losers were just 8 games, and some people have just got 70 goals. So I think the 4 games split was important to everybody, but maybe you could tell me that's happening or not.
Well, I just got the news. It's just come in. So I'm giving you it as it's just been posted to me right now. And basically the fixtures are up. I'll have a look at them as we go on. If you could maybe give us a long answer with some intelligent stuff in it for over 90 seconds, and then I'll be able to tell you. But listen, I'm not going to hold my breath. Anyway, apart from anything else, some people are positive about Scott Brown, maybe as the potentially Aberdeen, some people not. Lots of messages coming in on that issue. So it's just the first 2 fixtures, I'm told, have been confirmed for every club, Roughie. So we haven't got that split yet. At least you know your first 2 fixtures. I'm just being told that now.
Hearts away, hearts at home.
It means. Well, we've got them. We've already got them on Sunday.
Yeah,
playing them on Sunday.
Are you?
Again?
Again?
Playing them on Sunday. Yeah, a wee game on Sunday, wee bounce game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that tells me then, Peter, that they haven't agreed on what the first and second division teams have asked for in the long run. They've just given part of it out there, so we'll have to wait and see what the rest of it is.
You happy Chris Erskine's back, Roughie?
There's a few. There's going to be a few surprises. I think one in particular, if it goes ahead, I can't obviously divulge who that is, but it'll be a surprise to a few people.
Yeah, okay. Is it a big signing, a big name that we'll all know?
I think we all know who he is. Yeah.
Has he been on the show?
Yeah.
He's been on the show.
Anthony Stokes?
No. Is it a midfielder?
No.
It's a defender.
You're going to get to it, and then I'm just going to say,
is it a defender?
No.
Is it a defender? No, it's a striker.
No.
It's a striker. It's a big one, isn't it?
Oh, it's a striker. Oh, that's good stuff. Swab.
Gary O'Connor.
Wait. On loan.
Who?
Naismith
Obviously
on loan.
can't say. Who?
Yeah.
Naismith.
It depends how Naisy does on Sunday. It might be Naisy.
Okay. That's fantastic. Can't wait to see Edouard in a Partick Thistle top. That's magnificent. Anyway, apart from anything else, March the 20th, it will be Cove Rangers at Firhill, Roughie. March 27th, you're off to Airdrieonians. So there you are. There's your first two fixtures. You happy with that?
Yes.
And the other thing I was going to say to you is, Charlie, yet another benefactor, a mystery one at this, £375,000 donation. The SPFL again urging clubs to apply for grants of up to £10,000 after this donation of £375,000. Scottish football never ceases to amaze me.
No, it doesn't. It's brilliant to see, Peter. It's people don't want to even have any thanks for it. They're just happy to put the money up to donate to make sure that the clubs can get through the next few months to the end of the season. So whoever it is out there, brilliant, fair play to them, and hopefully there's more that can come forward, because without these type of people, it'd been difficult for Scottish football to survive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peter,
yeah.
Did we ever find out what clubs took up the 1.6 million loan? That seemed to have went a bit quiet. The Premier clubs that were offered the loan.
I don't know how many took it or how many have taken up the offer of it, Roughie, because it's very difficult for clubs to actually... Well, who's going to relay that to you? I don't think there's been any kind of a real release of here are the certain clubs. I may be wrong, but I certainly haven't. I couldn't even give you an indication, Roughie, of the Premiership clubs who might have taken that up.
Because I know for a fact that if it was a shortfall of the money not being taken up, that some Championship clubs would like that offer as well, that loan of 20-year loan.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I'd like a £1.6 million 20-year loan, Tam. I don't know about you.
Exactly.
So it does me.
So
he'd be even 70.
Roughly just getting away 400 grand.
Yeah,
away 400 grand.
Come on, we thought we'd keep that quiet.
Listen, I meant to say to you, by the way, what about Niall Kane says, can you ask Roughie about Ross McIver, who's joined from Partick Thistle? You happy? Who's joined from Motherwell? You happy with that, Roughie?
Yeah, I think Ian, somebody's worked with Ian before, and Ian really fancied him. We're a bit short on strikers, as I've just told you there, and he's trying to fill the bases. So it's going to be a big, massive, 8 games. So I think injuries are going to play a big part in it if teams are being asked to play Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. So the more players we've got available, the better.
Okay, there's a couple of Premiership games to look forward to at the weekend. Livingston against Hamilton is one of them. And, I think David Martindale has been talking about how the cup final defeat has affected his club's form.
On reflection, I think the cup finals probably had a bigger impact on the last 4 or 5 games. And personally, what I thought it would have had, and personally, it's not had it with me or the staff, but on reflection, looking back, I think it's played a part in recent performances, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, it was all going so well, Charlie. The whole build-up, the winning, the undefeated run, and it just all came crashing down. It would have been... It's a hard one to take for some players.
No, it is. And that's what I'm saying. 14 games undefeated. It's incredible for Livingston to do what they've done. And then, in the big moment, they're losing that cup final, and it's taken them a bit of time. Obviously, not in a great bit of form, and Hamilton going there at the weekend could be another difficult game for them. I could see Hamilton getting something out of it. So it's at least they're not at the bottom struggling. That's the only good thing about it, is that they've done all their best work, and the big thing for them is now just trying to get into that top 6.
Yeah, a big blow for them, Gavin Riley, that hamstring tear. It looks as if it's going to rule him out until he starts to get a pre-season for next season.
Yeah, that'll be a blow. I think they've struggled with a few injuries. I think obviously Scott Robinson was an injury approaching the cup final. He was in top form. I think that's knocked him back a little bit. But I think Livingston will bounce back tomorrow, Peter. I think that it's a massive game for both clubs for different reasons. I think obviously Hamilton round about the bottom, they need a result, but Livingston, I think, still needs some sort of point or result to get in the top just to secure that 5th place. So I think Livingston will win. I think Livingston will win 2-1 tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Tam. I think 2-1 for Livy as well. I know Roughie will write it down because he posted his first, Tam, and I just had a wee look at them and thought, right, let's see the old spread betting here. But anyway, yeah, I think Livy will win 2-1. Craig Jack thinks 2-1 to Hamilton. So it's one of those ones where a lot of people will be watching that closely because it has real implications at the bottom end of the table. Of course, Hamilton just keep producing these shocks in their bid for another great escape. They've just offered Brian Easton a new deal, and I think Brian Rice has just been speaking today about that new deal and about the fact that if any kids want to follow in the example of a professional footballer, Brian Easton's your man.
Well, Brian Easton's still playing in the Premier League, and he's playing most weeks, and it is about dedication and looking after yourself and training properly. And Brian is a role model. He was somebody who was here, went away to England and played, come back. He's ended up back here. He's ended up captain of the team, and he's a role model. He's somebody I put a lot of trust in. We've got a lot of young lads, as we all know here, and he knows he needs to lead by example, and that's something Brian does.
Roughie, we've had him on the programme. He's a brilliant lad, and again, it didn't quite work out for him at Burnley, but he's come back up and just got his head down and leads by example.
Yeah, I think when you've got somebody like that who's been about for a wee while, they know the standards you've got to set and the standards that you've got to let everybody know that you're going to try and live up to, and that's why he's pushed himself to where he is just now. He's the kind of player you want. Every club wants a player like him. Somebody that is reliable and is there week in, week out, and that's what Hamilton have got.
Yeah, Tam, he'll always be remembered as one of the, I was going to say, Charlie, he's always going to be remembered as one of the Scottish Cup winners with St Johnstone.
No, absolutely. I think he's a good career, Brian Easton, playing in the Premier League, like Chipper said, and, playing to a level and, will help these younger lads coming through. But I was just saying there about going back to the Aberdeen thing, Chipper wouldn't it be a bad appointment, would it? For if you talk about Aberdeen players, Aberdeen fans wanting somebody to play good football, understands younger players, helping them and learning them and coaching them. Throwing Chipper's name in the hat wouldn't it be a big surprise to me? Because I think he'd do well for Aberdeen.
Well, listen, when you consider his budget, Tam, and some of the results he's pulled off this season, and the season ain't over yet.
I think he's got to keep them up, Peter. I think he's done pretty well. It wasn't that long ago, let's be honest. The Hamilton fans were screaming for his head. He was standing outside the New Douglas Park, talking to fans. I think that was after the 8-0 game at Ibrox. So, he's turned it around over the last maybe month or 6 weeks, but he's still got to finish the job. If Hamilton get relegated this season, then he might not be there next year. So I think he's done well, but he's still got to finish the job. And if he can keep Hamilton in the Premier League, if he can keep them outside the bottom two, then I think Charlie's right. I think there would be bigger clubs going. By the way, he's done a great job there on zero budget. Going to have a look at him, but he's still got to complete the job, I think, at Hamilton.
Yeah, okay. Ross County against Hibs. I did look at the manager's interview when Big Yogi Tam said that Celtic just have to suck it up and give Rangers a guard of honour. And I don't know that you. I could. At the point when he said it, I could just imagine those. You remember those little characters he used to have? I don't know if it was in Chewing the Fat or Only an Excuse, but I could just remember the wee Glasgow boys going, "Tell Yogi to beat it." There will be no
think
guard of honour.
No, I think you're saying Yogi loves it. Yogi, he's a serious guy. Listen, I've watched him and played him. He's a serious guy, but he does throw a grenade in every now and again, and that was certainly a grenade. There's no chance that was going to happen. But listen, I think it's a game tomorrow. It's a massive game for both clubs. Hibs have been really poor the last 2 games, and Aberdeen, I think, will get a wee bit of a lift from a different voice. Sometimes, Peter, Darren McManus has been there for 8 years. A different voice on the training ground, maybe a different style of play. I think Aberdeen are needing something like that. They were needing a change because it was just week after week of dross, to be honest. So they've, I think they'll get a wee lift. So I think Hibs need to go up there and win. The 3 points. This is their game in hand. I think if Hibs can win it and it goes to 6 points with 6 games left, it's a nice cushion. But if Ross County win, Aberdeen will be thinking, it's game on here. We've still to play Hibs at home, so it's a huge game for both clubs. And I think Hibs will just nick it. I hope they do. I'm going to go for 2-1 to Hibs.
Yeah, I think this was going to be an interesting one as well. I'm going to go Ross County 0, Hibs 1. But Yogi himself is just starting to get his imprint on that side. And Jack Ross, the Hibs boss, says it's no surprise to him he's galvanised Ross County.
It doesn't surprise me. We enjoyed some good times at Falkirk in terms of the progress that club made and where that club was at that time. We were challenging as a top 6 Premiership club, and I think that he has an enthusiasm and a passion about the game that is vital to have. And then I think he's astute in his work as well. He's got good ideas for the game, and I think he backs his ideas as well. So I've not been surprised that he's been galvanised in that period. We know that firsthand from the game at Easter Road.
Yeah, Roughie, did you give us your Livingston score, Roughie?
1 each. I went 1 each. I think Hamilton, I've got the knack now of getting that wee point that they need in the game, so I think they'll get a point.
And what are you going for in this one?
I'm going to go Hibs 2-1 as well. I think Hibs have got a chance to go 6 points. So I bet that means Ross. Every time I've went against Ross County recently, I've won. So I was used to I'd be betting Ross County.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest with you, that's the kind of skullduggery that's going on here. I'm just looking though, Charlie, Ophir Marciano has decided time's up. He'll be leaving at the end of the season. He's not taking a new deal at Hibs. Good goalie.
Yeah, he's a good goalie. Tam speaks highly of him. So it'll be interesting to see where Hibs go in the summer window for a new goalkeeper. But it'll be a big blow for him because he's done a decent job for them.
Yeah, Tammy wants to play in the Premier League. Is he good enough?
Yeah, I think yes, Peter. I do. I think he's at England.
English Premier League.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about down being number 1, but he could go down and be a backup down there or number 3 and earn good money. So I think that he's rightfully he's a top goalkeeper. He's Israel international. I think he can definitely play an English Championship. And I think that the money that they can offer down there would dwarf anything Hibs can give him. He's 31 years old. He's got a young family, young kid, with another one on the way. So I think that it will be a massive blow for Hibs. The Hibs supporters love him as well. And Hibs have not a great record of goalkeepers over the years. Going right back to Alan Rough, you're talking there's been a catalogue of diddies. So I think that
was Andy Gorham and Jim Layton after me.
I know. He's at the wind-up. He's at the noise-up. Actually, to be fair, I think Hibs have, I know you're at the wind-up, but I think Hibs have a right good record of great goalkeepers that have actually played for the club.
No, in the last 15 years, 20 years.
Well, there may well have been a few.
I don't know about you, Tam. I'm surprised how much the boy Laidlaw's come on up at Ross County.
He's come on well, and supposedly.
He did do particularly well at Hibs. No.
Yeah, why don't you just keep?
Why don't you just have your own show on goalkeepers?
Yeah. Why don't you
anyway,
just keep talking over each other, and then we'll get no sense out of you.
Tam starts knocking goalkeepers. On the way up the stairs at Easter Road, there's photos of people that are in the Hall of Fame. Have a wee look the next time you're walking up these stairs.
Don't worry.
There he is. Hey. Oh, you got him there, Tam. He's touching out.
In you come, Roughie.
Is there anybody in Scotland for Hibs then that they would take?
I think they've got a good goalkeeper coming through, Dabrowski, young goalkeeper who's high hopes for. I don't think he'll be number 1, but I think he'll definitely be number 2 next year. But Siegrist, he'll be looking for a bigger club than Hibs, you would think. But
yeah,
why not go for him?
I have to be honest with you.
I don't know.
I think a lot of people, Tam, will be chasing Siegrist.
Liam Kelly at Motherwell.
Good keeper.
Another one maybe, possibly for Hibs.
Barkas.
So, there's a few. I don't think you get again for Hibs.
Yeah.
Did you
I'm going to read
him?
this. Yeah. You're a bad man. You're going to get pelters for that. Anyway, apart from anything else, I'm going to read a line out there that came in, and I must read it out because, quite simply, sometimes, and I don't like to bat on about it regularly. I do occasionally, and Tam starts laughing at me, but it's just on the essence. It's just on the feeling of decency. But sometimes we get people who post things that are unsavoury, and we apologise to anyone who gets them on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. There's nothing, I can ban as many as possible, but I don't want to waste my entire life scrolling through them all. But I do indeed ban a lot of people. But there's lots of 99% of the people who are on our programme are thoroughly decent people who love their club. Alistair Andrew says, Peter, as someone who's been shielding for most of the last year, can you pass on my thanks to all the panel members for giving me an hour of fun and normality each day? It's been great. Thank you. Alistair, what a nice line that is, and that just kind of typifies some of the people that we have who are really decent people who love their club, and we try and be as fair as we possibly can to every one of them. But the one thing that we do on this programme is offer you opinions, some you like, some you don't, but when there's good football to be talked about, we're right into it as well. I noticed that Paul Heckingbottom is going to take care of Sheffield Wednesday, caretaker basis, Tam, so he's in there at the moment, but Neil Lennon's been linked with the job already. Of course, Neil Lennon speaking, I always love it with managers that either have been sacked or players.
Who linked him, Neil Lennon?
Well, they go and speak to somebody at 5 Live in England. This is what they do. They go down to put their name out in the English market, and then occasionally they come up here to come back to the place where they earn their bread and butter to have a wee chat. But Neil was out there chatting, to his credit, saying he's had a break. He wants to get back into it. And you know what he's like, Tam. He's a football man. He'll be itching now to really get involved. And Sheffield Wednesday, he's been linked to that job.
No, listen, he's a good football man. I don't think this season would, I think, damage him in terms of going to that kind of level. I don't think he had a great spell at Bolton either. So I'm not sure. I think if he got it, he'd be delighted. You know, Sheffield United are a massive club. They're obviously still in the Premiership, about to drop into the Championship, but you know, I think there'll be a lot of top quality calibre managers in for that gig, the Sheffield United gig. And you know, I'm sad to see the manager leave, Chris Wilder. I think he's done a brilliant job at Sheffield United. They've had a poor season, but I think overall what he done last season, it just shows you how quickly it can change. You know, they were in the top 10 last season in England, and they're really struggling this season. So it just shows you, you know, football can change in a couple of months, and he's now out the door.
Yeah. Listen, we try and deal with as many issues as possible on the programme. Sometimes statements come out that we relate to. A number of people are mentioning, you know, that they hope Walter Smith is well and recovering. I'm not aware, Charlie, at this point, that Walter is ill. I know he did an interview, I think, a couple of weeks back, and I sent him a text. I make no bones about telling everybody. I sent him a text last week to say happy birthday to him. And he sent me a message back. So I hope he's A-OK. I haven't heard anything to the contrary, unless you've heard anything, Charlie.
No, I've not heard anything. I knew, you know, early last year, I think he had heart issue, or he had an issue, but recovered from that and was all fine. And I was just knowing that he was good. I heard Coisty talking on the radio the other day saying that he'd spoke to Walter on, you know, was it Sunday when Rangers had won the league, and he, you know, was nothing to be said. So it must have just happened in the last few days. So hopefully it's not too serious, and you know, wish him well if he is going through a tough time. And you know, he's a great man and a, you know, legend of Scottish football, and you know, is a great guy as well.
Yeah, loves his football. Has been a guest on the show, Roughie, and of course I have been in his company on many an occasion, and Charlie just nailed it. He just loves his football. He's a football man.
Yeah, I believe that Stephen Gerrard's been on the phone on numerous occasions to him to get some advice, and why wouldn't you phone him? He's been through a lot at football, obviously down in England and up here and Scotland. So any bit of advice that he gives you, you take and you take it in. So, no, he's still a big part of Rangers. And you saw with the interviews after Rangers won the league how much it meant to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, there's nothing that I've been told anyway. So all we know is he's, Rangers legend, and hopefully everything's okay. And just a number of people are posting there, and I can't confirm anything other than loves his football, and of course, we hope he's A-OK. Scottish Championship fixtures. Inverness Cally Thistle against Wraith Rovers. Is this a game that would catch your attention, Tam, that you'll be watching tonight? There's Dundee Arbroath, Dunfermline Morton, Heartsdale United, Queen of the South, Alloa Athletic. Is this one of those nights where you're going to get a prime time movie instead, or are you going to watch Cally against Wraith?
I don't know. I might watch it. The Championship games have not been great in the Friday night, the last few weeks. They're only good when the mighty Dundee are on and entertaining the people. So no, I think Inverness made the result. I don't think Neil McCann's had much of an impact and I don't think they've won a game yet. So I think it's a big game for both clubs in terms of the playoffs. Wraith Rovers will be looking to try and get second place. They're right up there, and Inverness will be trying to get into the playoffs. So I maybe watch the first 20 minutes, Peter. And if it's rotten, I'll turn it to something else.
Yeah, okay. You've actually mentioned on the show, Charlie, on more than a few occasions that Wraith Rovers are if my memory serves me correct, the best side you've faced this season?
Best football team in the league. John McGlynn's got to play some great stuff. They want to play it for the bag. Sometimes it's risky, but they still stick to the principles. And they've got some decent players in their team. So I'll have a look at this game tonight. No quiz on a Friday night, so we'll have a look at this tonight. And let's say it's a big game for both teams, because if Wraith win, they'll go, to 31 points, and Inverness need a win to get away from that relegation zone. So it'll be a good game to watch, and hopefully we'll take a draw with a Dundee hat on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Roughie, I don't know if you agree with yeah. Absolutely. And all of them in the first 20 minutes to keep us all watching. I don't know if you agree with me, Roughie, but I think if Charlie had been born a little earlier in life, he would have fitted in really well in the Leeds United side of the 1970s, because they used to all get together and play bingo and snakes and ladders and all things like that. Don Reedy had them playing little games together.
Yeah, that was until Brian Clough went there. And they all started falling out with each other.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have been into that. He'd be getting them all He'd be getting them all bevied.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he lasted 44 days,
44 days
in that time. Incredible. Still took his wages though. Still worth it. Anyway, apart from anything else, I tell you, Charlie, just on that point, we're talking about legendary managers. I think it's coming up in May. I'm really looking forward to the Fergie documentary. Are you?
Yeah, no, it was. I think it's always a great insight to these great people and how they're so successful. Do you know what I mean? And I think when the Man City thing come out with Guardiola, how the behind the scenes in Tottenham and Mourinho, but this one about Fergie, and after the problem with the brain hemorrhage he had, it'll be amazing to be able to see how his life is gone and what he's doing from retirement. So yeah, definitely one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, here's the fixtures for the English Premier League to look. What one, Roughie? What one?
Charlton's got one coming up that looks quite good.
It's already out.
Is it out? That looks really good, about the World Cup in Ireland and everything it was at.
It's excellent.
You'll get it on council telly in about 5 years, Roughie.
Has anybody watched? You should watch the Brazil one on I think it's on Prime, Amazon or something. With the Copa America, with the pressure they're under, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'll watch that one, Charlie. I'm glad you said that, because I was looking for something. Roughie, that's been out for a couple of months, Roughie, the Jack Charlton one.
No, it has not. It has not been out for a couple of months.
Tam, am I lying?
Not just promoting it in the telly.
No.
It must be a new one then.
No, it's been out on Netflix.
Remember, Roughie's only got 5 channels.
I'm saying he's just got the 5th channel.
I know, you're unbelievable, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you do, Charlie, don't tell him the Beatles are split up. it'll just kill him off completely. Anyway, apart from anything else, here's the Premiership fixtures after Roughie just interrupted there with a bit of nonsense. Pick of the games for me, definitely. I think Man United, West Ham, it would be special, I have to say. Charlie of West Ham and Davy Moyes could go there and turn them over.
Oh, it'd be massive for him, I think. For how he was treated there, I think it's always a special one if you can get a result against a former employee. But the big games, obviously the North London derby, innit? Arsenal, Tottenham, and Mourinho's playing the Alpine games in the last few days. So I think that'll be a good game, and hopefully Bale plays and Son and Kane up front. We're going to cause so much damage to Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see Tottenham get that Champions League place. Tam, I don't know if sometimes Mourinho annoys the life out of me, but nevertheless, when those three are playing, I get excited and I really want to watch them.
Yeah, Bale's come on to a game. It wasn't that long ago. We were all saying that he jumped it. He wasn't hungry enough. He didn't want to play anymore. But the last few games, he's been excellent. So maybe he's just get the wee kick up the backside he needed with all the negative publicity for him to go and kick on his career again. So I think that's coincided with Tottenham on a better run. And Harry Kane getting back to full fitness. So that'll be a great game. Arsenal playing well as well at the minute. So it'll be interesting to see how they go on.
Thanks to Richard Henry, who says, yes, you're right, Peter, the Jack Charlton documentary's been out for a while now, so everybody is steaming in now, telling us it's been out for ages. Can he tell the Alien he's not having it? Anyway, apart from anything else, listen, you can go onto our Facebook page right up at the top, the competition, a chance for you to win an iPad, an Xbox and a Diego Maradona canvas, all in one PLZ hat-trick competition. Just hit the send message, follow the instructions, give your answer, submit your details, and at the end of the month we will pick out one lucky winner who picks up all three prizes. So that's certainly one to get a hold of. Follow us on Facebook, and you can hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. I hope you enjoy your football this weekend. We certainly enjoy the fact that you are supporting us time and time again. The audience figures are fantastic across YouTube, Facebook and Twitter, so we want to thank you for sticking with us. Lots of great people watching our programme, and they know all about their football. Tam, Charlie, myself, we'll get into football tonight. Roughie's watching a new series which is coming out tonight on television. It's called The High Chaparral. It's about people on an old western area in America. So there's lots of great characters with it as well. So let's find out what that holds on Monday with Roughie.
Somebody get Roughie Sky or something.
Yeah,
come on.
Absolutely. And of course, after Partick Thistle play their first game, don't forget there's the return leg in the Champions League for Thistle against Hearts again. So there you are. Sending you the love, Roughie. Enjoy yourself. Thanks to everyone for watching the programme. Have a great weekend.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed.